Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be on my 2008 Acura TL Type S. This is my other daily driver, and I say daily is because, or other, because this was supposed to be replacing my 2001 Honda Accord that you've probably seen in my other videos. I like that car way too much to where I just can't get rid of it. This one is a 2008 Acura TL Type S in manual, so it's a 6-speed manual transmission. It's very hard to find, I guess, just because they didn't make so many of those. Most of them are in automatic. I owned this car for about 3 years now. I got it in Minnesota. The guy actually only drove this in the summertime just because of salt, and ended up just storing the car most of the time during the winter in a heated garage. So I got a really good deal out of it just because it's in really good condition, low miles, and no rust or anything like that. So normally people wouldn't go to Minnesota to get a car, but I did, and I got lucky with it. So with this car, there's really not much aftermarket support just because they only released this in the US, I think Canada as well, and in China. So there's not many parts that you can buy from it, to modify. So I actually kept this very simple. The Accord was kind of one of those things that also didn't have too many parts, but I was able to source them from like Thailand, Hong Kong, UK, things like that. So there's a little bit more places for that car rather than this. This car has its problems like cracking dashes and things like that, but mine doesn't. I hope I don't get it, but we'll see. Nonetheless, I'm going for more of a OEM plus look for this car, just because number one, I like the way it looked to begin with, and then number two, there's not much aftermarket support. So stay tuned and I'll show you around. All right, so I'm gonna start with the interior since I'm in here. This car only has 78,000 miles on there. I bought it with 62,000, so I've driven over the course of 3 years very little. The windshield is tinted with Lumar Air 80, which is an 80% tint. I did that specifically to protect my dashboard because a lot of them are cracked. This one right here, I've been using 303 to try to prevent it from cracking or at least slow it down. And then I also have a windshield shade that I put on whenever it's in the summertime, just so that I can preserve it. So far so good. I don't want to jinx myself. That's what I do to keep it looking good. The bottom of the actual leather, I had to replace both the driver and passenger side. If you own this car, you know that these leather seats are pretty crappy. So I had to replace the bottom part because it was cracked, and it's not going to stop cracking anytime. So I had to replace that. The whole sound system, I actually upgraded it to a Alpine sound system. Not too thrilled with how it sounds just because the receiver, if you don't change it out and you use a sound processor or anything like that, it's not going to sound as good as a actual receiver. So that's one of those things I wouldn't recommend. I would just recommend, if you want better sound, just to upgrade your subwoofer, which I did in the beginning, and then I wanted more and I upgraded it, which was not worth it. The steering wheel, this is from Endless RPM. It's a flat bottom carbon fiber leather wrap steering wheel with red stitching, perforated leather. I really love this steering wheel. It's really it's not as thin as the old one, which is great. And then since I have the carbon fiber here, of course I had to have carbon fiber and match right here, so I actually skinned the original panels here to make it match with this, which is a 1x1K weave, I believe. I did have some for the side doors, but since I couldn't find this top trim here, I skipped out on it. I have it ready until I can find it. On the bottom here where the pedals are stock. The dead pedal here is from Strut King. I got it from a Honda Accord, or one that's made for a Honda Accord. Just modified it a little and make it fit. That way everything matches rather than that a weird plastic looking one. And then for the sound system, also, or the, I guess, entertainment system here, I added a USA spec Bluetooth adapter so that I can actually play music and it connects to my phone, since the OEM Bluetooth only allows you to talk on the phone. So that thing is pretty cool. I'd highly recommend getting that. And then I have a shift knob from Hybrid Racing, which is a weighted knob, and it's also with a countersink, so that it sits a bit lower so you can have a lot quicker shifts if you wanted to. And then the last thing that I did as far as electronics goes is I got myself a Viper alarm, a DS4 Plus. Since I had the flip key on this, I didn't like having a flip key and a fob. I ended up making a key that's not flipped, and this was from, I believe, a Honda Element, and I was able to find this emblem. If you're planning on doing this, make sure you look for the V, because that's the chip type. That way you can take this key and program it to your car, so it is doable. Other than that, interior is in pretty good shape, and let's move on to the exterior. All right, for the exterior of the car, I have a full A-spec body kit. This was painted already from Honda, or from Acura, which was great. It's kind of hard to find now, so I'm very grateful that I got it earlier. On the back, all my emblems are actually painted. I painted them black just so that it kind of matches the theme that I'm going for. The top piece right here, I actually wrapped in black vinyl, just like the front. And then license plate frame, I have a C-bond carbon fiber. The top here, I have a endless RPM Type S style spoiler. It's actually a lot lighter than the normal one, but that's not why I got it. It's mainly for looks. And then some CDM taillights, which means it came from China. The China models had those taillights. And cars lowered a little bit. I have 1.2 inches drop on all four corners with H&R coilovers. I really like the look of it. It's a little bit softer than I expected the suspension to be, but it's actually really nice to have a car that rides kind of comfy. You can't adjust the dampening on it, which is really my only complaint, but if you want to upgrade your suspension, I'd say the H&R is really great. From the back here on the wheels, I got some RDX covers that I drilled holes in the bracket and tapped it and mounted it. They look a lot better than the stock ones just because it matches the front rotor, or the front caliper, the front Brembo caliper. And then I got some drilled rotors all around. The lug nuts are by Gorilla. They have a ball seat, so it's Honda specific. You can't use the tapered ones for the tuner wheels, so just keep in mind if you want to change it out, make sure you get the ball seat. And then I was gonna change the wheels, but I actually really like the look of it stock already, and the aftermarket ones I was gonna get was just way too much money for me to like the old ones already, which is it would kind of be ridiculous for me to do. And then I have spacers. If you've seen my other videos, I got some spacers in the front and rear so that the wheels sit out a little bit more, makes it look a little bit more aggressive, and actually it kind of makes it look a little bit lower as well. The front here, I made myself some black chrome emblems. I also have a carbon fiber grille middle part from Endless RPM, and then I wrap the side here, the trim around it, with black vinyl because I'm not a big fan of chrome. Headlights are stock. I have some stealth bulbs in there. The lens, I took it out and put some clear lens on there so I can get a sharper cutoff at night. And I have some Osram CBI bulbs in there, which gives you a really nice white and bright light at night, which I also really recommend. Fog lights, just got some LED bulbs in there. And then got some covers for the bottom here so that I don't have a front license plate Had to make these. Just go to a hardware store, measure them out, and then get them painted, because really hard to find some OEM ones. Oh, and the grill in the middle here, I painted a satin black with using a SEM trim paint, just because it was all faded looking and I didn't care for that. And the tint on this car is 25% all around. I made sure to not have that little strip right here that's always missing on many of the TLs by actually taking off this window and getting it tinted. So a little bit OCD there, but came out looking really good. As far as performance, I really have nothing on this car other than a cold air intake. I'm gonna get a J pipe later, but that's about it. Like I said, this car's not gonna have much done to it, just because I'm pretty happy with it already. Mostly stock, which is kind of weird for me because I modify everything I own. So here's the AEM intake. The transmission slave cylinder, it has a check valve delete, just because I didn't like the way it felt whenever you shift it into gear and release the clutch. It took a while to release, and it's not really good for if you're driving aggressive. It'll just end up tearing up your clutch a lot quicker than normal. But all in all, this car's been really good to me, and I hope you guys really enjoy this video. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me to make this video. I just haven't had time, so I apologize for that. And I'll find some time to make a video for my G35 and my S2000. So stay tuned, and just if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe it. It'll help me out a lot. And enjoy.